Dun 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 dun. What up? What up, my guys? Welcome to another show, NBA Talk with Jay. Everybody good? What y'all boys chilling? What man? Where's Shark at, man? Where's my guy? What you boys got going? Oh, they saying they got the shirts on. They saying they have the shirts on. Welcome to another show, NBA Talk with Jay. Let me just let me know. Let me go. Oh boy, I'm. Despite me doing this, guys, I'm really not a people person. I'm really not. People really just like rub me the wrong way. Everybody wants to make money out here. Nobody wants to do shit to work for it, my guys. But aside of that, welcome my guy, the man, the myth, the legend at Shark and Sports. What's up, my guy? I love the hat, I must say. What's up? Everything good with you?
Excellent, excellent. It felt like a thirsty Thursday to sit out back on the water. I always say ride the wave or get out of the water. I think this probably started when I was sitting out back on the water in Florida. And it's a gorgeous, gorgeous day. And I think we're going straight business. I heard Jay say something about working hard to earn. I
Yes.
certainly like to earn. I think I have the Sopranos gifts for a reason. You know it, and I know it. This is a business. And we're going straight business. We're going to the streets of Milwaukee, I believe. Jay, have you begun or shall we begin?
No, I hadn't begun. I'm just letting people know that if they want something and you got to work for it, nothing's given easy these days. A lot of people these days, like this, there's a new wave. Nobody wants to work these days. New wave of people, new generation. Nobody wants to work, but everybody wants to get paid. So that's all. That's all I was saying. It's just going through all type of shit with this house and stuff. And I've had so many people in and out this house. It's really starting to piss me off. But regardless of that, all positive vibes. Let's try to get to some cash today, my guys. We talk about this first game here. No, because I ain't gonna lie, bro. It should really had me in a sour mood. But Nets versus Bucks, my guys. Nets versus the Bucks. This line opened up at 4 pretty much. It was down to 3.5, 3. Now it's back up to 4 some places. Basically 3.5, my guy. Well, what are we thinking here, bro? Are the Bucks going to get swept? Are they going to steal one? Are they really come and show? They basically got smacked by 50 points last game. A lot of people saying, how do you come back from that? A lot of people think it'll be easy with the Nets. Could be. It could be the same thing. I know last year in the bubble shark that the Heat absolutely owned the Bucks, and it was like you take the Heat every game, no matter what the spread. No bounce back for the Bucks. Any of that, we saw that. So, what you think? You think this could be the same type of story, even though they got past the Heat this year? You think that the Nets could own them, or what we looking today, my guy?
Well, I think we've discussed this numerous times on this show. It's easier to bounce back off a 50-point loss than it is off of a demoralizing, overtime, emotionally draining loss. And I think what you saw last game was what I've said numerous times. I said it last night about Denver hanging out in the desert for 2 nights. Milwaukee was hanging out in New York for 2 nights against a top-seeded team, and they just couldn't compete on the road. Let that be that environment. It's done. Now they come back, and this is a complete environmental shift. And you are going to get Milwaukee's best craft of basketball tonight, period. The people in chats, and this, I'm not saying our chat is an esteemed group of basketball consiglieres, but across the globe that are really honed in on Brooklyn tonight. I draw you back to one point that has nothing to do with the Milwaukee Bucks. Game 3, Boston Celtics, first round. Brooklyn had already blown them out twice. The line was right there for Brooklyn, and they went in there and tanked the whole freaking game. They lost the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter. They made a little push in the fourth, didn't cover any of the trifecta. Brooklyn, with this group, without James Harden, is very capable of showing you they'll blow you out by 40 and then come into your gym in your peak environment and not play a great game. And I don't think this is any sort of box checker for Brooklyn tonight whatsoever. And I'm going on record right now. I'm officially sanctioning -2.5 Milwaukee first half. I think when you really look what's going on here, I think you're going to get their best effort in the first half specifically. I went back in the regular season, the 2 games at home against the Nets. They did cover the first half in both of those. It did get sweaty late. It was sweaty in the first half. I will say that. I don't expect this to be an absolute blowout, but I do think all boxes are checked here for the first half tonight. Jay?
I like it, man. I said it yesterday. I like them here early. And I remember that game. Nets come out 19-4. We thought it was gonna be another bloodbath. What do you know? The Celtics come back. You know what I'm saying? Once you come back from that momentum, you take that first punch or whatever, that first haymaker, and you come back from that. I say the Celtics likely gonna win this game. You come back down down 19-4 to start off the game, and you come all the way back and tie it up at that first quarter. You can just tell the Celtics that was a Celtics type of game. They took the haymaker, everything, and if I'm not mistaken, that's when they had all three of them. They had the big three over there, if I'm not mistaken, Shark. So, right, weren't Harden playing in that game versus Celtics, right?
I to be honest with you, I don't remember. I didn't watch much of that series. I was not thrilled with the way that series played out. But I don't think it matters regardless. And a key point on that, jumping off of that, James Harden did not play in either of the games that Brooklyn played at Milwaukee in the regular season. So when we're really evaluating how Brooklyn played at Milwaukee, we can look at it logically because, of course, if he was in or out, it would change the environment drastically. But yeah,
exactly. Yeah, guys, retweet the show as well, man, on Twitter. If y'all can, retweet the show. If you can, you can just share it right from here to Twitter, or you can go and retweet my tweet, my guys. So we got 104 people watching in here. Let's try to get 200 in here, my guys. Try to get 200 in here. But yeah, I like the first half with you. I am already on it. Minus $2.5 first half. Like I said, I don't want to. I know a lot of people are bullish on the Nets. I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm real heavy, guys, with going on. Like, I don't want to come on here and change anybody's picks. I know you guys respect us what people say, but if you're that bullish on the Nets and you really like the Nets, I know a lot of people money line and think it's going to be easy sweep. I mean, and obviously we're not telling anybody to take full game. What we're saying is that we think that there's a higher chance than not that the Bucks come out here with some type of intensity. Obviously, they're down 0-2 at the house. These are the spots that you look for, in my opinion, first quarter, first half for the team. If the Bucks don't come out with something in the first quarter, let's say if the Nets do get a 19-4 like they did in the Celtics, if the Bucks don't fight back and this is at least a tie game in the first quarter, I won't feel comfortable about them covering the first half. Definitely won't feel comfortable about them winning the full game. I see this as a trifecta spot for the Bucks, where they'll likely get blown out again. And hey, you'll have a whole other summer of people criticizing Giannis. But Budenholzer is going to get gone, man. If they get swept, if they lose tonight, they might, you know what, Budenholzer, you get out. We ain't even wait to the end of the series. But I must say, they do have a lot of pressure on them. Obviously, a lot of people looking at the KD and Kyrie, them boys are absolutely unstoppable. What the Bucks going to have to do, they're going to have to try and make the rest of the team beat them, my guys. But it's all going to be how they come out. You will have to come out with intensity, absolute fire. Obviously, the crowd behind you, everything. And like I always say, if they don't come out with you guys, I mean, all you Nets backers, you will be feeling good here. So it's either Bucks early or nothing for me, my guy. What you like?
Yeah, another thing, the reason why I didn't take the first quarter and I took the first half specifically, for whatever reason, in the last couple of games at home in these environments, they've showed out much better in the second quarter. They've made really late pushes when the starters come back in to close the second quarter. You had put on record they would cover the first half against Miami in the first home game in the first round, and they were lackluster in the first quarter, and they came with a big second quarter late push, and they did cover it by a hook. And if I actually draw you back to the two games against the Nets in the regular season, the Nets came out with pretty solid efforts in the first quarter, and Milwaukee really brought it to them in the second quarter. So I agree with you 100%, especially we said yesterday, historically, it should come from the opening tip. But on this bet, don't be too worried if they don't come out like absolutely guns blazing the first 5 or 6 minutes. I think they have shown tendencies like the Warriors did going back to the championship days, where they close the half very well at home.
Exactly. Just one more point on that. After you getting your ass blown out by 40, if you don't come out in that first quarter, I will be worried. It's simply put, and especially with the Nets offense, like this isn't a regular team here. These guys have one of the best offenses. Obviously, I mean, you gotta have KD and Kyrie. They hadn't even need Harden. These guys have one of the most potent offenses I've ever seen. So yeah, I must say, Shark, I agree with you, bro. I fucking love, but if they don't come out here in this first quarter, and I'm not even saying that I'm on first quarter, tell anybody, but I'm just saying mentally wise, they have to come out here and kick some ass and be up by 10 at the end of the first quarter just to give themselves confidence. Like I say, I mean, watching this Bucks, I'm like, these guys are starting to let it get to them mentally, and so that's what we'll see. The People's Barbecue, I got you, my guy. NBA Talk with Jay at Gmail. I'll put it in there at the end of the show. That's the email.
Yeah, and you know, letting it get to their heads 100%. However, I do think being back home in their gymnasium will help. I think for whatever reason, Chris Middleton really was not seeing the hoop very well at Barclays. I mean, top shooters, of course, this is not Steph Curry, but top shooters, they don't go that cold. And I mean, Jay talks about playing basketball. You know, I don't play at the same quality that my man Jay Money plays at, but I play basketball. I know exactly what that is. Sometimes in certain gyms, the lighting's off, the spacing is off. You're just not seeing it. And it's 100% like, of course, you got to give credit to Brooklyn, but I think that there was something more in his mind and just the environment. He wasn't feeling it there. I think it'll flip tonight for sure. And I agree with you. They need to come out in the first quarter. And when I reference the regular season, of course, the regular season is not game 3 of the freaking second round of the playoffs.
Right.
But, and of course, you saw that in game 2 as well. I mean, Milwaukee didn't get blown out by 45 in the regular season against Brooklyn. So if Brooklyn's capable of bringing that beast mode effort, I think Milwaukee, in a similarly motivated environment at home, is capable of bringing, out of body effort here.
Exactly. And we know the guys, the Bucks have the better defense. So it's all about them trying to come in here and clamp down. If they come to play defensively, this team will look like a different team. And that's with KD and Kyrie getting their buckets there. So this game, in my opinion, will be all about the role players. You can't have Forbes, guys like that, going out there and having terrible games. You will not win that way. And they actually need the Forbes to actually have somewhat of a big game. Those type of games that he had versus the Heat, my guy. So that's enough on that one. I do like Bucks first half with y'all. I'm riding with my guy, the Shark, man. If you like it, you know damn well I like it. And like I always say, historically, this goes back to about 65% over a large sample size. I'm talking about like 200 games. That down 0-2, coming back to the house, that first half is a very strong spot. And it's not even, they don't even necessarily have to win the game. They just have to come out with intensity, fight, and trying to avoid going down 0-3, and could still possibly lose the game, guys. We're not even saying go Bucks full game here. So Bucks first half, I like it. Next game up, the Clippers versus the Jazz. Some people in the chat noticed I did get a haircut. I don't have a play on this game, but Clippers versus Jazz, pretty much the same line as the first one. I believe Conley is questionable once again here. Right now we have Jazz -3. They had a terrible shooting first half, Shark, in game 1. Still come back, obviously, with a huge second half, come back and win that game. How you think this game might go if the Jazz don't necessarily have that bad of a start this time, my guy?
Well, that's exactly where I'm going with this. I think they're going to come out a lot better. And I'm playing first quarter -1. And I think you're going to see a complete flip. And we see this across all series. We saw it with Philly against Atlanta. They laid an egg coming out of the gates in game 1. Game 2, 33-20, offensively and defensively. And there's numerous other series, even within these playoffs. Forget historically, as you just coined 200-game reference and going back 30 years, etc. But this is where you will see the starters, specifically in the locker room, say, guys, we had 12 points through 11 minutes of basketball coming out of the gates. We shot somehow our biggest outlier of the entire season. That's not going to happen again. They're going to be focused on it. Their energy is going to be better. They hadn't played in 6 days. That probably was part of the reasoning behind it. And I think it's going to flip tonight completely. So Jazz first quarter -1.
You know what's the craziest thing to me, bro? The Jazz actually came out hot. First couple of shots, they were hitting them. They were up like 10. They were up like 8-2, 10-2. Like they came out actually pretty hot. And then everything just really, that's when they start up and miss really 20 straight shots, my guy. I couldn't believe what I was watching. The fact that the fact that they kept shooting the threes is the part that I couldn't believe. Obviously, I mean, you shoot, that doesn't mean that you're going to make it, but it's like they just kept shooting nothing but threes. We know Clarkson going to come in there. I'm like, oh, no, he ain't finna shoot that. Bullshit. You got Clarkson messed up, boy. He let me fire, boy. But yeah, it's gonna be a damn good game. I can't wait to watch this one. I couldn't talk you off that Jazz first quarter play at all, my guys. Obviously, see what's up with Conley. This line could move the way. They're saying that some guys got the first quarter at -0.5. Obviously, it's probably juiced up. That half is probably -115 or -115, -120. Yeah, I'm seeing ones out there at like -105, and then the -0.5 is gonna be juiced to the -115, my guy. Yeah, 21 shots, boys, missed in a row, Sharks. So anything else on this one? Anything else you like, my guy, before we get out here? I couldn't talk you off Jazz first quarter. I think they should have a lot better start.
Yeah, and I mean, not only just from the outside of the psychological environment, which will be in the locker room tonight, I think a good cross-referencing point here is how they came out in game 2 at home against Memphis. Game 1 against Memphis, they laid an egg. Of course, Donovan Mitchell didn't play. You can make the comment, of course, Mike Conley didn't play, different player, but whatever. And then in game 2, they came out and just absolutely throttled them in the first quarter. And the game was over from there. It was just a blowout from the get. And I've said this numerous times going back the last week or two. I do think there's a bit of a public attachment to old guard champions. LeBron James, when we were fading the Lakers, everybody was saying it's LeBron and AD. What are you doing? And Phoenix went 4-0 ATS with Chris Paul. Now people are saying it's Kawhi Leonard. It's Kawhi Leonard. And I congratulate you if you bet Kawhi Leonard last game and got absolutely disgustingly lucky to cover that. When you're up 112 to 104 on a 3.5 and you do not cover, people that covered that got absolutely just disgustingly lucky. Don't keep betting that. I'm just advising you. The old guard is turning over to the new guard as we speak. We are seeing it in front of our eyes. We saw it last night yet again with Phoenix. I think we're going to see it tonight yet again with Utah. I don't think this is going the other direction. I don't think these guys are coming back next year. I know the Warriors are going to come back, Klay Thompson, et cetera, et cetera. I think the league has flipped a switch. The new generation is here. They're now, and they are ready to dominate. And one final point on that, the best time to bet young teams like this is when they have yet to win a championship. I always bring it back to the Warriors. When the Warriors had not won a title, they were an absolute ATS juggernaut that entire season. And then after their first title, the following season, they were an absolute ATS juggernaut. And you saw it all season with the Jazz, and I think you're going to see it continue here tonight.
Got you. What do you think about guys like Luke Kennard, guys that we didn't even see in the last series? You got guys like Beverly, Cousins. Well, Cousins only played 4 minutes, but Beverly, he got 6 minutes in there. They're playing a lot more Zubac in there. And Luke Kennard was like the first guard off the bench, was actually pretty surprising. What do you think about, like, say if you had to make some full game here, what do you think this one? You think that the Clippers, as far as like the bench, they could help keep it closer, or you think the Jazz can just smack them up here this -3? They'll start it off early and then won't have a terrible first half and still have the same type of second half. Would you lean Jazz full game?
I don't love the full game. I do think there's definitely a pushback factor from the Clippers. Luke Kennard's an interesting point. Go back to round one. He hadn't gotten a lot of playing time, and then he started to see playing time late in the series. Mm-hmm. And, that dude can get hot. I mean, he's got a great lefty stroke. Real nice coming out of Duke. And, I'm just not capping the full game here. I didn't love the number. I didn't love it coming down a little bit to 3. However, I really just like the situational dynamic off of really just a pathetic first quarter opening in the last game. And it's the same thing with Milwaukee. They're coming off of an absolutely atrocious first half, and I expect it to flip in both games.
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to ask you as well with that one, just a full game, if you had to take a side, full game with the Bucks. And we noticed, I was with the line scaling, whatever, they're favoring the Bucks. Yeah, they're favoring the Bucks here a bunch, saying like the Bucks are coming out this one, like they're going to get one. The Bucks are telling you that it's not going to be a sweep here. I think it's pretty strong for the Bucks here.
I agree. I would lean Bucks here. I would never bet Brooklyn plus 3.5 or plus 3. And again, I really draw you guys back to Game 3 at Boston. Boston, who is far lesser quality than Milwaukee, handled them. As you said, Brooklyn got up
146, I think.
Whatever. I don't know the exact score, but Game 3, Brooklyn covered the trifecta. Boston covered the trifecta. And Brooklyn really never made a big push in that game outside of the first 3 or 4 minutes of the game. And I just think that it's an all-world collide spot here for Milwaukee.
Yeah, they had lost 125-119.
Yeah, and as you said, the number is incredibly strong. And you go back to those 2 regular season matchups. The first one was -2.5, and they covered by a hook, 117-114. And the next game at Milwaukee again, it came up to, I believe, 3.5, and they won by 6, I think, 124-118. So I don't think that this necessarily is going to be like just your Phoenix Suns 4-quarter 31-point lead in the fourth quarter. But I do think that the lean would absolutely be to Milwaukee covering this game by somewhere between 2 and 5 points.
Exactly. You say, hey, the backs are definitely against the wall, my guys. We'll see what happens. Like I say, I understand if guys want it. It's all about your money. We won't tell guys what to bet with their money. I know a lot of people are bullish here on the Nets, and obviously, they've looked like the clear-cut better team. It's just. The only thing I'm going to say is if you think it's going to be a sweep, then you take the Nets. If not, then I would say either just lay off the game, or obviously we're pinpointing a whole different spot here. But there's a lot of people just blindly taking Nets money line. Right. That's the only thing I'm saying. I'm not saying it's not going to cash.
Here's the thing. This is a large-scale remark. We are not unaware of how good Brooklyn is. Like, this is where it always becomes sort of comedy. And I'm going to give you guys a snapshot to like when Jay and I go off the record and we chat. Like, we don't sit here and say, like, oh, Brooklyn is a terrible team. We don't just fade the public, right? The obvious point, we know the obvious point too. We're just looking at the lack of consistency. Teams don't go 82-0 in the regular season. They don't cover 16 straight games in the playoffs, right? So if it seems too obvious, we have 100% consider it. We've considered it more than you. We've talked about it for hours. We're just figuring out where there is movement up and down within a series, because it's rarely, if ever, just the same thing every single day. And I just want people to realize that. And as Jay shares another loss, we're also not competing with you guys. If you guys were coming over to our house, we'd have a barbecue, we'd hang out, we'd chat this. We're not telling you you're an idiot. We're just telling you to be aware of the movement day to day in people's lives. I always say it, professional athletes are not superhuman. They're just optimized humans. But they still have consistencies and frequencies, and we need to figure that out. And truthfully, that's all you need to know.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't mind putting some money, putting a unit on Bucks first half at all. Especially historically, this is a spot. I mean, I told you guys at the beginning of the playoffs, down 0-2, coming back to the house. I mean, if you just have a clear-cut better team, you know what I'm saying? That's one thing. The net, even though they've shown to be a lot better, I still think that the Bucks are somewhat still right there with them, especially with no Harden as well. So if they're going to take one, in my opinion, be here, and they really have to start out here first half, I'll go in with Bucks first half. Like I say, because if you don't put like this, if I like them full game, you have to like them first half. They don't come out with intensity here, guys. You worry about them. It's simply put. So I can actually see it happening, and then them possibly losing the game and choking it as well. So, but yeah, give me first half -2.5, my guy.
And the last thing before we close up here, I said it before and I'll say it again. When you lose by 45, first of all, you are not demoralized. You are pissed off. Your quality was exposed on national TV. If you lost in overtime by 1 point, you would be demoralized and you might come out flat. You are pissed off. That was a disrespectful effort. And one other point, when you do lose by 45, the starters did not play in the fourth quarter. They're rested. They didn't exert a ton of effort. You could see this in the first half when they got down big. Budenholzer and I think really the mental makeup of the group, they were like, all right, this game's over with. Let's just coast and get ready for game 3. They did not exert a lot of energy in that second half.
And you know what? Shark, it doesn't in the playoffs, and I know a lot of people relate into it. It doesn't matter whether you lost by 1 or you lost by 50. That's why they pull their starters. Obviously, it looks terrible, but it's one of those things where it's like you have to sit over there on the bench and just be infuriated and take that out on your opponent next game. So we'll see how the Bucks come out here, guys. Down 0-2 is something. This is them. There's something I'd be on almost every time because it catches at that high of a rate. Obviously over 65%, over 200 game sample size. So, and it's like this. It started to hit so much to where 2 years ago, the books literally started grading the first half a lot higher. They start to see that because I know at one point it went like on a 20-2 ATS run. Then okay, the books like, all right, we're gonna have to start cheating this up. It still start to hit at a high rate, but obviously you start to pay a premium, and they could come back to bite your ass. And this one, I don't necessarily think so. Obviously, because even though it still was on when I bet this one, it was at 3.5 or 3 for the full game, but still -2.5 and -2 for the first quarter. So it was still graded higher, but you want that. And I think the books, they know that the books, whatever you're going to get left from them, it's going to be early in this game. We'll see if it'll translate to the full game, but I don't mind going official with Bucks first half, my guy. Hey, we're not telling guys that you have to bet it. We're letting you know how we're looking at the games. We're not betting with your money. You're not betting with ours. We always like to say that only one unit, no max bets, anything, my guys. But I guess what I'm saying is if you're really that bullish on the Nets or you feel like you just can't take the Bucks, we're not just trying to talk into it. We're coming on here to break the games down, let you know how we're looking at it, and you do with the information as you see fit. My guy.
You cut out. What'd you say?
I was saying break them off with your officials.
Oh, I like those 4 words. I'll break them off. Milwaukee first half -2.5. Jazz first quarter -1. I might be posting Jazz first half as well because when the Jazz show up at home, they do usually continue it into the second quarter as well. Top 2 of the day, Shark to Sports. J Money is money. Close them out.
Shark, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, now I think my internet kind of went out, man. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna have to start hooking my cord up, man. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
All good. All good.
It's been a tough day so far, man. But no, we'll get it done, man. Hopefully it's cash. Cash will make me feel better. I am on that books. I love riding with my guy Shark. If he's on something, I'm riding with him. I need money in the chat, my guy. I appreciate you, man. But yeah, Shark. One more time, if the people didn't catch it, what's your plays?
Milwaukee first half -2.5, Jazz first quarter -1. And I would not talk you off, and I would probably talk you on to Jazz first half as well. I think when they come out in the first quarter, they do continue it into the second quarter, and the letdown would probably come after halftime here. Sharks and Sports. The Shark is in his element. J Money's Money, Cash Money, the legend himself. Close him out.
Yes, man. I appreciate you, my guy. Not a legend yet. Hope to be there at some point. Say J Money got junior internet service. No, not necessarily. I don't know what the hell is going on. I'm having to trust my Wi-Fi right now. So when my Wi-Fi when my Wi-Fi goes out a little bit, then that's what happens. Nobody likes the Bucks in the chat. Not even at. I think a lot of people just think look full game. We're saying we like them first half, but regardless, well, I understand if guys don't like it. Yeah, the Bucks are trash. They suck. The Nets are superiorly better, and they're gonna blow them out once again, right? It's gonna be easy money with the Nets, but I will take a flyer on Bucks first half -2.5. Couldn't talk anybody out of Bucks first quarter as well. -2, -1.5. I think that's where it starts. If they don't cover the first quarter, I'll be honest. I'll be kind of scratching my head, hoping maybe try to make a little in play on some Bucks first half. But I do like them first half to come out here. They have to put everything in their bag into this first half. Like you have to be up by 20 at the first half just for their own mental makeup to believe that they can do it. They have to come out here, put together a really good defensive effort. They got to hit some shots as well. Forbes, you're gonna need those threes off the bench. They're gonna need that. Bobby Portis, you're gonna need that because obviously the crowd will get behind them and make it a lot better for them. So we appreciate you, Anthony. Appreciate Anthony. Say, man, I'm riding with y'all. I appreciate you, Anthony. Everybody in the chat, whether you like to play, you don't like to play, you're here just to listen to us break down the game. So I appreciate you. Much love to all you guys. Please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell as well, my guys. So even though you subscribe, you get a notification every time we're going live. Appreciate everybody. Go and follow my guy on Twitter at Shark and Sports with the late night NBA chats. Follow me on Twitter as well at J Money is Money. We appreciate you guys for watching. We love doing this for you guys. Like I said, hit the like button, subscribe. We will be back tomorrow. Let's cash.